Hadn't really posted a whole lot lately on YouTube, and had a lot going on. I hope everybody's doing all right. You know, I hate hearing the word therapist and, professional psychiatrist and all this kind of stuff, because I've talked to some families. I've talked to many children, adolescents, all of it throughout over the past 5 years, more or less the past 3. But when it comes to enabling, it's enabling some serious stuff. It's serious. Because from my experience, it's we want to families, whether whoever it is within the family, if we're trying to work together, we want to put that individual in a center of recovery or rehab, and we want them to get better. But see, when it comes to this thing, addiction, it is a family disease, and it really is. And friends can be family too, whatever. Whoever it is you consider family. So when it is a family disease, when that individual goes and tries to get the help, and then all this family over here, let's say your friends, they're our family, they invest money. This is not like something you buy. This ain't something you say, here's 10 grand, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever. And expect for them to get fixed in a manner to where we over here that pay for them to get fixed, we don't have to look at ourselves. They're the only ones that need help. We don't. We don't have a drug and alcohol problem. They're the ones that have the problem. And the whole time, the ones that invest that money are actually more ate up in more ways than not than the one going and getting help for the drugs or alcohol. Because these individuals have the money spirit, greed. That's what their drive is. And that's hard to fathom too, because we're driven in a greed society. We are. We get drunk and money, wanting that shit, and it gets us in trouble. We cheat on this and status in life, and that becomes our addiction. But this side can't expect that party to go get help and then come back and however long and to be thrown right back in the environment that this family had that almost killed the individual of enabling. Does that make sense? To where that one's going to get help and these are staying in the same boat. That one's on its own journey. Whereas in real life, they don't stress it enough on TV. When that individual goes and gets help, this whole party right here, this unit, is supposed to work together and come up with a plan for them too. So when that one relapses again, what they're going to do about that, and as a group, instead of them going off, and really working on themselves, and then coming back to an environment that is not structured and disciplined. When they're used to that within the recovery that they've been taught in the rehab and that, and then they come back and nobody does it. And then that individual is like, listen, we've got to try to do this. And then in the meantime, that family never got help. And then there's no communication at all. And seeing recovery and get better, you have to communicate. You have to. You got to drop pride. And you have to allow when somebody's on fire, in a good way, to step out of the way and say, lead the way. Damn. You really put some time in on that. But see, when they invest this money, then and they don't seek help, and they've got a lot of pride, they feel like this party owns them. So when they come back, this party can say, you know what, we tell you what to do. Screw you. And it's like your environment is what almost killed me. You didn't go get help through Al-Anon or anything else to see what we went through. So I'm telling you you're the same environment that almost killed that individual. You're putting them right back in it. Screw you. It's life. And it's like now we're to a point to where the families won't change. To the parents and the grandparents that have money that drink and that don't have the problem that they think, they know it all. So therefore, that individual will never be right. They'll never be better because they'll always be right. They'll never go and seek why they turned out like that, why certain ones like us have that gene of just, we can't stop whatever it is. But it's, when we're serious about getting help and looking within ourselves and changing, everything around us changes. And to the families out there that are wondering why did they not hang around us? And it's like, well, because for one, you don't have anything to offer us. If you never go do anything, we are constantly moving. If we're around you, we have to alleviate ourselves from you after so long, because the language is lower nature language. It's not educating. It's bullshit. It's garbage. And a lot of us have to work around individuals that don't want to do anything. Nothing. And we have to deal with that because other people enable them and allow that to happen. And we actually, if we're smart enough in this whole process, we can look at the behavior and study it and watch how owners, parents, grandparents, whoever, brothers, sisters, how they try to control things and enable. Not just that individual anymore, but what happens is that person's gone to get help, and this whole unit right here, guess what? That whole environment that got them fucked up still going on right here. Still. It's just not alcohol or drugs. It's, social media, it's overeating, it's enabling, it's controlled alcoholism, if that's a thing. And that's serious talk. But we're to a point now to where instead of anybody within this unit actually trying to find out why their loved one did what they did and what they went through, that refuse to look anywhere, they'll always be on the outside over there, because this is a group. This is a group census right here that's against that individual. We don't like what you do. And see, in that same environment is right here. The others are going down within that environment. They just can't see it yet. Food addictions and everything can be way out of hand, but it's not alcohol and drugs. You're going to die shorter than an alcoholic probably. But yet that's healthier? No, it's not. So see, until somebody within there steps the fuck up and says, we're going to do this way, and sticks to the plan, then the environment will never change. So that's why a lot of us that relapse, we go off and get help, then we come back, and what is it? It's the same shit. Nobody did any homework. Nothing at all. You went off good, you're fixed, come on. It's not stressed enough, and it's for a reason. It's because nobody gives a shit at all. And then you got like me, somebody comes along and it's like, look, you got to change, and fuck you, we're not changing. That's power. To be so miserable right here that you would hate somebody for every day getting up and having success. When this whole unit right here is crumbling. The unit that never socializes with each other and just never does anything. But they have money, so they control them. And seeing money's not created even for us. That's a lower nature thing. So this whole unit right here is actually all lower nature shit. That one over there is of higher nature. They've been through the lower nature, now they're seeking enlightenment. And then lower nature misery hates light. Darkness hates light, but light will prevail over darkness. Even if that light has to leave that darkness. That light stays around long enough, and it's like, look, since y'all don't want to change, I'm going to do to you what you should have done to me, because you enabled me, doing the same thing now to everybody else. But now I can leave. I'm autonomous. I can govern myself. Bye. Then this group says, how dare them? How dare they leave? We've done everything. We ain't even done nothing for them. We ain't done nothing to them for them to leave. And it's like, exactly. You didn't do anything. You did nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So why? Why should they stay when you choose to do nothing to help this situation that's chaotic? One drink or one screw up and they're dead. To you, you just think it's funny. Some people. Until we're at the funeral home and it's like, You know, because some of y'all out there, you will never get a chance to see those people again that are dead and gone and and left each other on bad terms. And you live with that shit every day, and that's some big time acceptance. Big time acceptance. And they'll say it ain't my fault. And it's like, it ain't nobody's fault really, but you fucking never chose to do anything to help them. You know, giving money and giving time is two different things. You know, because when you give a lot of money, and then it's like, that means you got other selfish shit going on. When you give time, that means you're willing. You're open-minded, your heart's open. You're ready to get down to the nitty-gritty. Try to, at least. You know. And but I wanted to share that because it's heavy. This enabling stuff's heavy. You know, this family's not going and getting help is heavy on the person getting help. Because that's two totally different worlds colliding every day. Every day. One seeks growth, you know, enlightenment, encouragement, you know, humility, dropping pride and all that. And the other side, which is a group in totality, seeks selfish gains, seeks vanity, seeks image, you know, seeks misery because they can't get out of that shit. And then people within that, they hate on those individuals because they just, it's how it is. You know, and it's not their fault. That's how they've been designed with all that shit that they're eating and they're watching. It's destroying them. And they're gone anyways. You know, seriously. This whole thing, addiction, drugs, and alcohol is nothing compared to the food and the TV. That's some real deal stuff. Tell them, say, quit watching that. I ain't got to. And it's like, just stop for a night or two. Screw you. All right, you're wrong. And it's like, you can't even see it, can you? I don't have to. It doesn't do nothing to me. And it's like the same signals that drugs and alcohol gives us to the brain is multiplied by 1,000 compared to the TV and to the pharmaceutical medications that one's under while watching the TV and all the colors that they incorporate during the commercials, the sounds, the frequencies, the vibrations that you and I get when we open our temple up to something that's not natural. A cube, which represents Saturn. You know, Saturn devours his own children, represents destruction. You know, drugs and alcohol change your mind. You know, what do you think the TV does and all the different scenes and everything and the deaths and the murders on there? It changes your emotions and it changes how you think and feel. The different colors and ethnicities of different people and cultures on there created hate within you. Whereas you've never even been around a certain culture and your mind's already made up how they are, even though it's all a fucking lie. You know, that's power. How anything that comes on TV, I used to believe, but not no more. And everything that comes across is meant to fuck with our emotions and our thinking. All of it. And over time, it makes our decisions for us. If we can't stop watching TV and start reading about why we can't quit fucking up, that tells you who's got power over you. You know, when you cut all this shit that's been designed out here, and if you think about it like the alcohol, why is that shit everywhere? And the pharmaceutical medications, they're everywhere. It is designed to interrupt the anatomy and the human body and the thinking. You know, to blind us from what's going on. And those of us that actually see this thing, we are fortunate. I'll get deeper with this shit one day. But I don't want to scare you off just yet, because when it comes to being awake, I'm a little bit beyond that. You know, now it's the confusion's over, and now it's the acceptance of all of it's really set in. And, you know, but it's beautiful. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And that's what it is the struggle's real. People hate on me because they can't do what I do. And, you know, it's just like this. If you ain't been through enough headaches and heartaches just yet, you ain't going to want to change, you know. And we ain't. And I love you.